I love you guys.
Welcome to Torque Stories Podcast, Sunday, June 8th, 204. Ann and I are going to talk Pacers in the finals. Are we worried about the fever? And living where we live on purpose. We might even work a little. I think Ann went to see The Phoenician. I bought the first season of Landman. Ann, are you ready for my hat reveal?
I'm ready. You got a hat reveal.
All right, here we
Okay.
go. Look, right first, let's just look how big my head is right here.
Pretty big.
Because you can see the top. I mean, it's so much head. So there's the hat.
Oh, look at that.
Now, the downside, I'll let you talk first. I know that you'll be honest. Just let me
About your hat? I don't like it. No.
Yeah,
But
tell me why.
the straight brim, I'm not that person. Now, lots of people love straight brims,
They do.
so maybe lots of people love it.
Do any
I like a cupped, like a shaped brim.
54-year-olds wear straight brims? Is it wrong to
To
say?
me, it's a little more street. Yeah, it's like more street. It's like you should almost have a price tag hanging from it, and then you would think, oh, you still do have the sticker on top, I see.
Well, it just came yesterday, and I picked there were stickers under here, and I took them off. Um, yeah, I think maybe also it's not really a 54-year-old white guy hat.
Yeah, it's a straight brim for me. I just don't like those.
So the brand is Mitchell and Ness. That's a good brand. I was not expecting this big straight brim,
Right.
but I made the choice because I like the old Pacers
You like the
symbol.
old hand dunker up
And
yeah.
then here's the main thing I thought I would do with this hat. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I thought I got rid of the Celtics there, even though the Celtics are over here on the other side. I don't know if you can see them. No, they're right behind me. They're right there. My 86 Celtics hat. But I bought it mostly for decoration, and I wanted some yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a decoration sit around the back, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll actually wear that out and about. We'll see. We'll see if I'm feeling, to use your word, street at some point.
Street. Yeah. To me, it's like I would see it on the streets here a lot, a straight brim.
Okay. And Pacers win game one. You missed it. You want to tell us what you learned? Should you talk about what you did that was so important that you couldn't watch the Pacers in the finals?
Well, months ago, I registered to go to an event. I do have work.
Yep.
Occasionally, we do have events. Normally, I don't go to them. But somebody was like, Ann, go to this event because it looks like it'll be fun. It was at a car museum that I've always wanted to go to, that I drive by every day. And it was on my way home. So I said, sure, I'll go with it. I'll go. And so I registered a long time ago. So it's, I can't just back out at the last second because it was a Pacers game. And sometimes, they do better if I don't watch. So it's not the end of the world if I don't watch.
And you sent me, was that a Batman car you sent me?
I sent you a picture of Batman car. Green Hornet car was also there. And there were also some, we were stuck to one floor, because there were a couple of events going on. But I did see some interesting cars and I had a couple free drinks.
The Green Hornet, is that the Ryan Reynolds movie?
No, it's from the original Green Hornet TV show with Bruce Lee as Kato. I forget who the star of Green Hornet was. It wasn't a show I watched.
Do you remember what superhero movie Ryan Reynolds was in that wasn't very good that people make fun of him for?
Green Lantern, perhaps?
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I
Green
mean,
Hornet, boy, he might have been Green Hornet too. Somebody was the Green Hornet and it was not successful.
I can't, maybe I got that wrong. I don't know.
But the Green Lantern, for sure he was that.
So what did you learn about the Pacers game that you missed?
Something I suspected. You texted me a couple of times, and one time you were like, "Oh, we're down 10, we're down 12," and I was like, "Just keep it within 10.
You did.
Keep it within reach, and you always have a shot." So I believed that before the game, and of course, it proved to be true. They kept it in reach and slowly pulled them back. So I think that's what they got to do. It sounded like they maybe were panicking a little bit much in the first part. With all these turnovers, or maybe they're just getting used to the type of defense they're playing, and they've maybe adjusted.
I've heard different things said that I totally don't agree with. So a thing I texted you very early, I think, was the only person in the whole game that looked comfortable was SGA, right?
Right.
All the Thunder looked tight. All the Pacers looked tight.
So everybody was nervous about being in their first finals.
Yeah? I think so. And then I think the other thing, Oklahoma City Thunder are the fastest. They're the longest. They're in the passing lanes the most. And so I don't think it was forces by the Pacers. Sure, it could have been a little bit of tightness, but I think most of all, they had to get used to what can we do against this team.
Right. Yeah. This is defense that we haven't met at all yet. And how are we going to adjust to it and change our game to it?
And no, I don't think anybody in the NBA swarms on a drive the way Oklahoma City does. So you can like sometimes, I mean, I might coach a game where I'm afraid of shooters and we don't help in the perimeter at all. And I'm like, and you got her and stay in front of her. And if she can beat you one on one and you box her out and she scores, great. And we might play other games where we're like, when this person drives, we're all over him. So I think the Pacers were driving too deeply, not getting the ball rid of the ball soon enough and losing it. But a lot of it was just like passing lane stuff. So I think they calmed down and I think they got used to it.
Right. I've also heard some people say, like, you have to take the first open shot when you're playing OKC. Passing around is great, but if you have an open look, take it. Don't be passing around more than you have to because they're actually going to probably steal these balls.
Yeah. I think a good analysis is the Pacers, I would say the ball pops. So, drive, pass. You might call that a click pass if you're a coach. But they make that one more pass. And I think that extra pass that the Pacers make so unselfishly is hard for Oklahoma City to recover to. Now, I was also texting you turnover updates while you were. Now, so you didn't know anything about the game other than what I was saying, or were you checking your phone, or what were you doing?
I think I checked the phone twice. I also talked to another girl who was also checking her phone. I don't know why. She's not, I guess she's a general basketball fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I checked it 3 or 4 times, just the score, but I didn't know details.
Let's shout out the museum. What was it?
I want to
Oh,
say it
there
was
it is.
called the Hammer Museum,
Mm, yeah.
Hammer Automotive Museum. It's on Wilshire and Fairfax, a very popular corner.
I think I like car museums.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. I would have liked to seen the whole thing,
Yeah.
but
I think
I
I
also had
like
to talk to lighting people, so it was like I had to actually do work too.
so these people lit this car museum and you were going to check out their lights and
Right,
network.
it's like a lighting distributor invites a whole bunch of manufacturers and they have a little show. And they
Yeah.
have a show in an interesting place to get people to come. And they give you free drinks and free food to get people to come. And so that's why we came.
What was your favorite food?
I just had some really nice bread. I'm not a big eater. It was this appetizer type stuff, and I had 2 margaritas. So that was good. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got a couple free pens, although one didn't work.
I wasn't going to ask you about your alcohol consumption, but you just came out
Yeah,
with it.
2 margaritas.
Oh, and you got
Was
some
there for
pens.
hours. Huh?
You got some pens.
I got some pens, but one doesn't work. Pretty
Oh.
disappointed. I was with another person and she got all sorts of free stuff, and I just felt like I just couldn't just grab.
Maybe you should email them and say, "Hey, this pen's not working."
Yeah, this pen's not working. It's upsetting because one pen is ugly and it works, and the other pen's attractive and it doesn't work.
Yeah, we need to maybe get a picture of the pen for the post if you can get that to me
Okay,
right
I'm overstating the attractiveness, but
right
sure.
after. So I told you the reason I was hopeful. They ended the first half with 24. No, they ended the first half with 19 turnovers. And the reason I was hopeful is I was like, they're still kind of close, and that was horrible.
Right. I've seen a lot of people say, hey, Oklahoma didn't convert these turnovers into
Yeah.
points. That's a major problem. And B, the Pacers didn't had like what, one turnover or something in the fourth quarter. Like they really tightened it up and didn't have as many turnovers. It makes me hopeful for upcoming games. We could get shellacked today because KC might be like, oh my God, we beat them. Now we didn't beat them. Now we got to just grind them into the ground. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But it makes me
Yeah.
more hopeful for the future. Like we can also improve. They can improve as well. But we can also improve.
Yeah, I think I have that down here in a second. So the game ended 24 turnovers for the Pacers, six. Ooh, that's low. Six for the Thunder. Um, I know you were sad to miss that you couldn't join Coach MacArthur and I during the week for the podcast, but
Right.
one thing Coach MacArthur, I liked it. It's a really simple stat, although now we have to reflect on it again. He tells his team how many more shots they got. So, and I think he actually does it at half. I kind of like the idea of Coach Epps already does shot charts for us and them. People, I won't get into the details of that. I know you don't care. Some people might care, but so she keeps a shot chart and she kind of reports something real quick to me on our team and on their team. So it would be easy at the end of the first quarter to say we got four more shots, and then to say why, whether that's offensive rebounds or turnovers or what. But the Thunder ended with 16 more shots and lost.
Right. Yeah. Well, to me, another reason they lost is they didn't make as many shots. Right. You didn't. Guess what? You didn't make as many shots. You didn't shoot a percentage that you didn't shoot the same percentage that the Pacers did, so they could actually take less shots and still win.
Yeah, and
So
then
the other guys besides HGA, they got to make their shots, which they obviously are capable of, but they didn't today or a couple days ago.
it can be, you could almost always reduce it to the shooting. But then there's all kinds of factors about like, well, how did you get those shots and what kind of
Right. What's
shots
the
were they?
quality of the shots? Yeah.
So the Pacers hit 18 threes to the Thunder's 11, and that's the difference.
Yeah. Exactly. When
That's
they're
it.
open, they really knocked them down. What do you? This is really kind of off topic, but what do you think about this 2 days between games? I don't like it. I understand it's the finals; it gives them more time to prep. Can't we give them 2 days when they change cities, but every
Yeah.
other day when they're in the city? I don't know. It's too
As a
much.
coach, I would love it. As a coach or a
Right.
player.
Yeah, I get it. As a coach
Yeah.
and a player, they love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I get a rest day, then I get a real prep day.
As a fan, I
Um,
feel like we lose momentum. It lessens the urgency of the
Maybe,
games
yeah.
to me.
I don't know that 2 days I'm losing a lot of momentum, but maybe you are.
Yeah, my
I
momentum's
mean, or is anybody else complaining?
no, it's just me. It's just something I thought of.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think probably some people are complaining. I mean, for example, we went last, was it last year or the year before? In North Carolina, we were playing um, something like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in the playoffs, and it was, as a coach, it was really almost impossible. I mean, I would come home, just turning film around, putting together a
Hmm.
game plan. I realize it's the same opponent, which helps a little bit. I think the basketball will be better with 2 days in between.
Okay. All right.
All right, there we go. So, Ian, I have been harping on all these timeouts that people call for sideline out of bounds, and then in some cases to advance the ball. Right? You in the
Have you been
WNBA.
harping on it? I don't remember you harping on it, but
Yes, I
okay.
have been.
You're not in favor, is what you're saying?
I mean, I know you don't listen that much, is why I'm reminding you, but some of you, I've been frustrated with how poor people's sideline out of bounds are.
Right.
And I would go all the way back to Tara Vanderveer, incredible coach, who kept calling timeout one of her last years, and they kept turning the ball over. It's like, why you don't have any plays? Why? And sideline out of bounds plays that only have one option. So you call timeout, you have one play, it's not there, terrible shit. Anyway, Pacers no timeout.
Right.
Loved it.
No timeout.
Pacers no timeout. So they get the rebound. I think it goes Siakam. Somebody gets the rebound. I don't remember. Then they go to
Somebody got the
Siakam.
rebound and kind of was almost scared to move, like they were in
Yeah.
awkward
And they threw
position.
it to
They
Siakam then.
tossed it to Siakam. Siakam threw it to Helbert.
Yeah. So love that. And then just to add a little caveat,
So I
I'm
think
not
it was Toppin. Toppin got the rebound.
I'm not against timeouts, period. One, do you have stuff you like? What's your team like? But almost all the time, if you'll get the rebound and go, Phil Jackson famously said, when I think Jordan steals it from Karl Malone, and that was his last shot as a Bull. Jackson in the documentary says, if we could get something without them getting their defense set, that was better. So I really like that. And then if I'm standing on the sideline, I'm watching my team, and we've already talked about this. We all know we're going. Let's go. And then as soon as something looks wrong or off, it's like, ooh, that looks bad, or there's nothing there. Then I call the timeout.
Right.
Yeah. And then I have things with options I like. And I think it would be harder 82 games, playoffs, game 3 of the series, whatever. Now you're deeper into your have they seen this yet? And that's tougher.
Right. Well, I mean, hey, giving a timeout gives you more time to think about it, but of course it makes the defense also gives them more time to think about it. Plus, the Pacers are a flowy team, up and down team, so they should be used to it. So it should seem natural to them to do so.
Yep.
It wasn't like the last play was this great play though. I mean, he just did an isolation kind of and got free, right?
But you see a lot
But the
where
spacing was good, I guess. Yeah.
you can't get it in. You can't get it into the person that you want. or you're like in the corner with someone draped all over you with no chance.
Right. Yeah. Maybe Oklahoma should have tried harder not to let him get that pass from Siakam.
Yep. They
Maybe
were,
they couldn't think about it that quickly, I
yeah.
guess, but
I mean, right. All that stuff is
because it went to two people, it wasn't like bam, bam. It was bam, bam, bam.
so.
Like that.
So I have my little two sentences on what I think about the Pacers' chances the rest of the way. What did you have?
On how I think they're going to go.
You kind of said that already, but just reiterate
Yeah,
it.
I think they have a better chance than people were giving them. I always had a belief, but I also thought they could get killed too. And they could still lose four in a row, but I doubt it. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
So I think 6 or 7 games is realistic.
I
And
agree.
I think, yes, the Pacers have a shot to be the winner. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say they're going to, but
I said I think these two teams are more even than we thought before.
right.
The Pacers probably won't shoot as well as they just shot, but they also hopefully won't turn the ball over 24 times.
And they do shoot quite well.
Yeah.
They're a very
And
good
I
shooting team. It shouldn't
is
just go away.
is Dort going to hit 5 threes again?
Right. Yeah.
Shea hit a couple, which he doesn't always. I actually bet under 1.5 threes for Shea. He hit two, I think. Um, and then Dort hit 5 threes.
Yeah. I do wonder, is Chet surely going to play better? Are they going to put two big people in and maybe that'll work better for them?
So a lot was made of the Thunder changing their starting lineup. Um, and I think the general opinion is wrong. I certainly have heard people say, um, I'm a pressing team, and if we don't press this team in the championship, then my team's going to doubt themselves. I guess a drastic change, like if you had the same starting lineup um, for 82 games and then you changed it, okay. But that group had started like 15 or so games. They got off to a great start, right? They got off to a big lead. They forced a bunch of turnovers. So any like psychological, unless you want to say even Chet, he started. Hartenstein's the one that didn't start, right?
Right. I guess I would agree with you because obviously they did have a great start. So maybe
Great
they started
start.
the right people.
Yeah.
But mentally, and I'm not saying it would hurt me playing, but mentally I'd be like, huh, why are we changing? We're supposed to be the studs.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you're making us seem like we're not.
So something
Just
to
pull
watch.
the guy quickly if that's what you want to do. I don't know.
So it will be interesting who they start, who gets the minutes, who do they finish with if it's close. And I
Yeah, and
do,
those are the important things. Who gets the minutes at the end of the day?
and
And who do you finish with? Yeah.
if I were going to grant, this would be me granting a little more space to people who are like, we shouldn't change. Um, my teams, I certainly establish we game plan for our opponent, especially defensively, really on both sides of the ball. So we change a lot based on who we're playing in the conference and in the tournament, not so much before that. And we also mix up starting lineups. So my team and my group, our identity is we adapt to our opponent and we do things to make it hard on them. So if there's a different starting lineup, or we defend ball screens differently, or we play more zone instead of man, or we trap, whatever we do, the team is used to that. So we are in the same process that we're always in, even if we're playing a different defense to open the game.
Right. Yeah. So another storyline I see a lot is people saying, "Oh, Carlisle is a really great coach."
Hmm.
Um, I think they're aren't isn't their coach supposed to be a great coach too? He's not experienced like
Yeah.
that. So anyway, what are your thoughts on that? On
Um,
the coaching, is there a real advantage here, you think, or are they pretty even?
so the thing that jumps out to me the most is the guy Rick Carlisle that I see on television, that I hear in interviews, that I hear Pacers players talk about, seems like such a different guy than the guy who was getting cussed out and called names by Luka Doncic when he was with the Mavericks. Like I can't reconcile the way that Luka book portrayed Carlisle. So Carlisle seemed like, and I used to think of Carlisle. I mean, I think he could still be a control freak, and I no shame in being a control freak either. I'm probably, micromanager myself. Um, but he seemed to be a control freak offensive set wise. like we're running this, Jason Kidd, look at me, get the play call from me. We're all doing this. And he's not like that at all anymore. It's very much a concept offense where different people bring it up and they got a series of actions they can pick from. The one thing I would say about the Thunder coach is he doesn't have a lot of finals experience. And he
Right.
has much less experience adjusting to opponents in long series, deep in the playoffs. And so if I circle back to JJ Redick, I thought JJ Redick did a great job. There's no substitute for your second time through it, your third time through it. So is this Carlisle's, I don't know, his how many
Oh, I
finals
have
is
no
he?
idea. You're
Because
not
he,
good.
he was Larry Bird's assistant when they went to the finals.
Right. I do. Yeah, I certainly have recalled his name, and I remember him being the coach before he went to Dallas. But yeah, this is a storyline I've heard a lot, is that he's
So
making
what,
adjustments
and I
throughout.
think like, what do we notice different? Well, if I even go back to the Knicks, if I go back to the Knicks series, here's something I saw that is a good sign for Carlisle. Um, the Knicks were really, really, it's called a hard hedge. So if you're guarding the ball screener, you jump off really hard and you're swiping at the ball handler. You're almost taking a charge. And the Knicks did that really well. And the Pacers opened with some ball screens with a cleared side on purpose because they knew that the roll would be open. And they threw these early passes against hard hedges and got layups. And the bench like got excited and two guys ran down the court to like push Carlisle and dap him up. And Carlisle was kind of like, leave me alone, I'm watching the game. So that's a really good sign because we hear about players who come off the floor and don't even talk to their coach and don't listen and sit down away from the huddle. So things look good. Player chemistry, all that stuff looks good. I guess that was a long answer about coaching. I think, look, game two, game three, what do we see? What do we notice? And then we can talk about coach. I mean, that's a good thing to look for in next podcast. What coaching adjustments do we see?
Right. Yes. So yeah, that's just a major storyline I've seen.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you and I read Ramona Shelburne's ESPN article titled Why Tyrese Halliburton's Superstar Ascension Actually Began 3 years ago. You can link to that at thetorg.com. And you read the article, a couple things jump out at you.
A pretty short article, but yes. I have heard this man, Drew Hanlon, is that his name?
Yeah,
I've heard this man on a different podcast speak about this,
sure.
maybe
Okay.
early this season, because he
Uh-huh.
also trains Embiid.
Right. And
So I've kind of heard this story before. Yeah.
and Tatum.
Okay. And Tatum. Yeah. And so I've heard this story before, direct from this guy's mouth. So, yeah, basically the theme of the article is Halliburton needs to be aggressive and take
Mhm.
his shots. And his personal coach, he has a personal trainer, Drew Hanlon, and that's his goal, is to basically get Halliburton to do that. Now, Halliburton sometimes does do it, but he still sometimes doesn't do it. So
Right.
I don't know that it's completely through his mind. In fact, he really didn't have a great game in this game. His fourth quarter uh, and his winning shot kind of make you forget it. But he didn't have a great game. So I think that's another positive. He could have a great game, right?
Yeah.
In the future.
So Drew Hanlon, he has I guess a business called Pure Sweat. And so you can watch Pure Sweat videos on YouTube. You can pay for a subscription to his app. Like here's a little bit of a glimpse of the maniac I am. A couple years ago, Drew Hanlon gave a 3-day free trial to his app, and I took it and I watched every single video on the whole app
In the three
and
days.
took notes, and then I never did subscribe. What a
Way to support a creator,
what a cheapskate. I do think Drew Hanlon's doing okay financially. And I'm going to make up numbers here, but I don't think they'll be that far off. For something like $8,000, you can go to Vegas and stay in a hotel and be out on the court with Drew Hanlon for 2 full days training athletes and learning how to be a trainer.
Oh, okay. Right.
There you go. And then he offers courses. You could take online courses to get certified to be a trainer. So that's Drew Hanlon. I think so. Something I've never done with a player, and it wasn't shocking, but I just have, I've coached. My first team was in 1995, and I've never given a player a goal of shots to take. So Hanlon said something like, if you don't take 14 shots tomorrow, I'm not working with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
think
that
it
was
was even
interesting.
more than that. Yeah.
So I'm always sort of he ended up taking like 16 and scoring 38 or something. I've had some high percentage shooters who I would say be more aggressive. I mean, I'll just name Caitlin Darner, who played for Watauga as a senior. You know, she just didn't have them in like a scoring mentality. I mean, it was something we were pushing her to do, but I never gave her a goal. And I've always thought, oh, okay, if this player isn't going to take those shots themselves, then I'm not going to give you a goal of like maybe it's okay they're only taking those many shots. So I've never done that. It was an interesting idea. It would have been interesting. I'm just using Caitlin as one of six examples. It's not, it's a pretty uncommon problem actually. But if I would have said, Caitlin, if you don't take 8 shots, you're not starting the next game. If I would have said that, it'd be interesting to see what she did. Of course, I want good shots, Ann.
Right. I think one thing is the reverse is something that's so much more obvious. Uh, oh my God, that person's taking so many shots and they're not even close. So it's just weird to kind of think of it in the other way. But I think the proof is in the statistics. He needs to take these shots. And the Pacers are more successful when he takes these shots. And yeah, we're
Somebody,
not saying throw up bad shots. I don't know how many times I've watched a lot of Pacer games in the regular season because I did have the NBA pass and I would watch them. And a lot of times he'll drive in there and I'll be like, just shoot it. You're right
yeah.
there. Take a shot. And he'll do some kind of reverse kick out to the 3-point line or something, which sure, sometimes it works, but it's like, you're right there. Just shoot it.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
he's at 5 feet in the air. Where if he just turned to the rim, this would be one of his little scoop or flips. So Ann, so I know people listen to this podcast and they, for some reason, thank you, enjoy our banter, even though they might, I've had people say, I don't watch the NBA. So somebody who doesn't watch the NBA, what would you tell them about Halliburton?
I would say he's quirky. He has a quirky shot, unusual looking shot.
Got a little funny hitch, doesn't
He
sometimes
has,
doesn't
yeah, like
jump.
a little hitch shot. Um, but he's fun to watch. He seems slippery,
Oh, that's a good
maybe.
word.
And he's like out there handling the ball well and kind of dancing around people. I guess that's what
Yeah.
I like about him. Yeah. We've
Yep.
got
So
some great passing.
he's long, he's slender. I think the thing he's willing to do that a lot of really good point guards aren't willing to do, he's willing to throw the pass that leads to the pass that's the assist. I mean, there's a lot of point guards, some of whom I've played with. They do not want to throw the ball ahead unless they think they're getting an assist. They would rather hang on to it, run a pick and roll, now get somebody who shoots it. So he seems completely selfless. You may have heard that you're not supposed to leave your feet if you don't know who you're going to throw it to, or you leave your feet to shoot. He jumps all the time with no idea of where he's going to go with it. And he'll
Right.
start looking around and throw it at the last second. He's got an unbelievable mid-range floater, right? Just like, and he's like looking to the corner, looking somewhere else. Oh, I guess I'll shoot this floater. And then he changes speeds a lot. I mean, herky jerky, Shay's that way a little bit too. But so he's very darty. I like your word, slippery. Smiley, I think he's one of those. I don't know if good-natured trash talker is a thing. I think Giannis is like this, where he's like, he looks so happy and smiling, but I think he might be saying something kind of nasty.
Right. He's definitely a big talker, a big signal maker. You know what I mean? Like he does all the hand gestures and things like that. But I feel like he can take it pretty well too. He doesn't seem angry out there.
You know, a word that was used that it was also a word used for Reggie Miller. Halliburton is a showman.
Right, exactly. He's putting on the show. He's enjoying the show. He understands that sometimes show turns on you, and you know he's a big. I don't know why I'm bringing this angle in there, but he's a big WWE guy. He's into the wrestling.
Mm.
I mean, what's more showmanship than wrestling? Wrestling is obviously more show than sport. Um, get on the mic, talk your trash. The villain comes out and he talks his trash, and you both shake hands later. I mean, he was on the WWE last summer with Brunson, right?
And
So
I think so when he does the choke sign, um, I certainly see people who are malicious rubbing in their victory. I don't see his that way. I
right,
mean, I
yeah,
think it's like Reggie did the choke sign. Spike's over there. This is going to make for good television. This is fun for the fans. I think it comes from that kind of place.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So here's a quote. And I also sent you a link to a video. I'll tell you where you can watch it if you want to watch it. This is a quote from the article. This season, Halliburton has hit an astounding 13 for 15 game tying or game winning shots in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime, the best field goal percentage in a single season since play by play was first tracked in 96 97. Let me say that again. 2 minutes to go. This shot will tie the game or give the Pacers the lead. He is 13 out of 15.
Pretty clutch. And many of them, of course, have been in important playoff games, right? Like probably half of them. I don't know, six of them. Um, the most amazing one to me is the one, and I saw it live in the regular season. Now I'm not going to remember who it was against. When he got the ball in the corner and he's kind
The
of
Bucks.
fading. Okay, yeah, and he's fading to the corner like
Giannis
he's going to
fouls
fall
him.
down.
He gets fouled.
Yeah, and he gets fouled and he made that three. I saw that happen and I thought that was pretty amazing.
So 50% would be an incredible number. The thing as a coach and as a player you have to understand is if I have the courage to take this shot, I'm going to miss at least half of them, probably a little more than half of them. And I can't let that deter me from keeping shooting. So he is in another world on these shots.
Right, he's not deterred and he wants to take them. And everybody thinks, oh, he's going to make it, and he does.
So what'll be interesting when he misses the big one, or he misses a couple big ones, you know, does
How
he
does that
keep
affect his game?
does he
Yeah.
keep playing like he's playing? So if you go to on Twitter at Pitless Ball, PITLESSBALL, he made that edit or he posted that edit. I hope he made it. Where you can watch all 15 of those shots.
Right. I feel like I counted them. They were only 14, but I must have missed one.
Oh man, you might have.
Yeah.
Okay, I see if I have any other Halliburton. I guess I would say in the article, he doesn't come across as entitled. And what I mean is, I should win the MVP. I should get the last shot. I should start in the All-Star game. It sounds like he's really a perfectionist and self-critical, and he hits the game winner, and he says something. Oh no, here it is. This is what he says after hitting the game-winning shot. I know I was terrible. I made the shot and everything, but there's a lot of room for improvement. I can be better. So that's a good sign for the Pacers.
Right. And part of that might just come from, he went to Iowa State. He was not this LeBron James coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So uh, perhaps it
Because
gives you a little bit of leveling.
you have these players who are a big deal their whole life.
Right. When you dominate your whole life, it's hard to let go of that, I would think. I wouldn't know the feeling, but
So I think we talked about the Pacers in a way that's interesting, even though we don't know what's going to happen tonight.
yeah, I hope so. Everybody listening to this probably already knows what happens. I guess, this is probably going to sound negative, but it's because I guess I just haven't connected with any of them, but I just don't like OKC.
Yeah.
I know they play it the right way and all that, but it's like these guys just are not magnetic to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Caruso. I mean, it's if you watch tonight, Ann, watch on drives the way they swarm the drives. If the Pacers run any screen and roll, watch how they have obviously been taught to leap out on a ball screen and dig in with a hand and try to poke the ball away.
Hmm.
And then I think, one thing left unsaid about Halliburton, and I think this goes with Harden. I think it goes with Steph. There are games where you run all these ball screens and you get doubled all the time. And so he can force a shot 1-on-2, or he can hit the open man. And then I do think it's up to the team a little bit to be like, when you pass it out of this double team, we're getting into this action. We're looking for this, and then this is how we're going to get it back to you one more time. I don't really think the Pacers have that one more time. The Pacers, so something that the Warriors are great at, and that the Indiana Fever are really good at once they got all their parts back. If Caitlin's being denied or Steph Curry's being denied, those players know exactly what they're doing. So did Iowa when Caitlin was at Iowa. the Pacers they don't really have a really good plan mid possession on to get Halliburton back the ball. You'll see Halliburton standing 6 feet behind the line, being denied, and he's not going to be a part of the play. And to me, that's something that they could be better at.
Right. So I'm going to assume, I guess, Halliburton would be your favorite pacer. So who's your second
Oh
favorite
boy, I don't
pacer?
even know. Who
I
am I?
don't either, but I'll think about it here while you
So a
talk.
couple I would throw out. TJ McConnell is hilarious. So I've pulled up YouTube videos of just the funny things he says. I mean, he's really like he'll come out of the game and say, I sucked. I know, too much dribbling. He's like really in tune with how he played, and he comes off like almost narrating his play most of the time in like a negative, I got to be better way, even though I've been frustrated with some of his minutes.
A good
Uh,
thing to, this is a good point for me to remind everyone. I did see the Pacers play the Clippers this year, and I think it was TJ McConnell's birthday because I was there really early, and a little girl had a happy birthday sign and took a picture with him. So
yeah, nice TJ. So here's something McConnell does. Maybe I actually think he may have led the NBA in steals or top two or three in steals one of the years of his career. He pretends that he's running back on defense and he comes back and steals it. He probably
right.
does. He does that more than anybody else in the NBA.
No, there's Jose Alvarado. He does it. It's his
That's
trademark.
right.
He does it
And
most. Yeah.
Siakam has been incredible, Ann.
Right. He's a great player. Yeah.
Just a
What a
14,
trade, huh? What a great trade.
14 to 18 foot fadeaway back downs. Those have been incredible. But does that make him, I don't know him to be like, he's
Right.
my favorite.
My second favorite, I guess, just based on pure personality and love, is Toppin. Just
Hmm.
because of the
Oh,
dunks he can do are just crazy to me. When he missed that dunk, it really kind of broke my heart. Was that the Knicks game?
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, one time in the middle of the game, he did it between his legs dunk. I mean, it was amazing. And I guess the other one would be Nebhard, just because I like his little face. He always has that little face with his braids, and he seems like a tough guy, even though he seems real small. I don't know how big he actually is, but
So I'll go Toppin comment and then Nemhart. Toppin, I thought he pressed against the Knicks because it was his former team. I thought he took too many shots per minute, not great shots, maybe played a little tight. And then he got off to, and really he had a lot of company. He got off to a bad start in this OKC game. So I've been slightly down on Toppin just from a fan having him out there standpoint. And he played great and hit 5 threes and was one of the keys to win, right?
right. My being his second favorite really isn't based on his basketball. It's more like, oh, he can really jump high.
And then Nemhart, and I can't remember if I texted you this at the car museum. I was also Charlotte was also texting me. She's back now, but she was at a teammate's house over in Murphy, North Carolina. I said one big difference from the Knicks series is how much better Nemhart is playing. So he was great on defense, and he hit that between the legs step back, uh,
Right.
and then he
And then
took
that
it.
next one, he shot it again and was short,
Yeah,
and Siakam scored. Yeah.
and Turner banked that three in.
Right. That bank three, that's
Were
crazy.
you
Yeah.
home for the bank three?
I don't think I was. I saw the Nebhard setback and I saw the Nebhard short when he had the layup. So I did see those, but no, I
I
don't think
can
I saw the bank three.
Sitting here, I tend to say I like all the Pacers. I can't think of one who's. I mean, I'm really a fan of multiple Pacers, and I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I can name them all deep in the team.
Yeah,
Never have I been able to do that.
we can go 8 or 9 deep at least.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't have even said, "Oh yeah, Halliburton's definitely my favorite Pacer." I wouldn't have thought that. I just
right.
like.
He's actually probably not my favorite either. I think you're right. It's his general like of all of them.
So I started
Because
filming.
Turner actually a very sweet guy. He's a big
Oh,
Lego
Lego.
guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I read. I think I know the person who wrote that article.
Okay.
I texted him, and now I can't remember who ended up doing it. I was like, "Wow, I know him. He wrote this article." Yeah. Okay. So go Pacers, right, Ian?
Go Pacers.
Go
Go
Pacers.
Pacers.
I think we could win. The Pacers could win
We
tonight.
could, yeah. I'm up on it
I mean,
now.
there's a possibility that they are as good or better.
Right.
I meant to look up each team's record in their last 30, and I bet they're close.
Closer than you think. Yeah.
Okay, and I know you said you watched some Fever. Was that your first game?
I watched the whole game. It was the first time I watched the whole game. Now, my attention did start to wander in the second half because, frankly, it was a pretty bad game.
They blew out the Chicago Sky, which was a little bit of a surprise, I thought.
Well, no Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, um,
No
playing
coach, no
no
coach.
coach. Yeah, that's right. They had to play a lot of this like third backup point guard who wasn't even on the team and did really well. And actually, is the only person that really stood out to me.
Yeah,
Something McDonald.
I can't remember who their backup point guard was supposed to be.
Sydney Colson
Yeah.
started, which I don't think of her as a great player. I
Do
don't.
they wish that they didn't sign her?
Yeah, let's get rid of Sydney Colson and keep this other girl. That's what I
How do
think.
you, I don't know how those contracts work and if you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
It's not the NFL where you can just release them, I don't think.
The announcers were talking like, hey, other teams are going to want to pick up this third girl because she can't stay on the team once one of the people come back from injury. That's what they said.
Because I heard him say that, and I said to Megan, even what I wish I wish someone would always say this, even though I think maybe it's not possible. When she was like, you got to find a spot. What's her last name?
McDonald.
You got to find a spot for McDonald on this team. And then I wish someone would always say, okay, who would you get rid of?
Right. Yeah.
Tell us who to get rid of. And, there probably is an answer. So that was in my notes. And I think I texted you that. It's just interesting. They're so thin at point guard that this person who might get released next week, if Clark comes back, is playing all these minutes, and then she's going to be gone. And then you got these other
Right.
people who don't get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a weird dynamic.
It is weird. I
So
think
is
it must have something to do with their contracts for sure. Right. It has to.
Yeah, it was the first ever WNBA nationally televised primetime game.
Now that was brought up, and yeah, I get it. It's a big deal, but it's Saturday. It's the weakest primetime day of all television. Second only, or I'm sorry, first, and then second would be Friday, I think. So, it's not that big of a deal. That's what I'm
So
saying.
8 o'clock Saturday night. That's not a big TV moment.
No, it's not a big TV moment at all, in fact.
Aren't people aren't wanting to? Is that why people aren't wanting to watch sports on Saturday night?
Sports are in the day on the weekends. Think about it, Bill Bob. Sports
Tonight,
are in
8 o'clock.
day.
8 o'clock tonight,
Except for tonight, yeah. But the
Finals games
finals are different. The finals are a different package. Think about Sunday during the week. I mean, the only one, I guess, Sunday night football. But yeah,
Sunday night football is bigger than Sunday day football,
yeah. I mean, you're right because it's the only game, though.
and they start. Yeah, right. And then, and you said no stars in the game.
No stars in the game. Well, who would you say was a
So
star?
Angel Reese is not a star.
She's not a star. She's well known like a star, but she doesn't play like a star.
Hmm.
How can
Dennis
you say
Rod,
she plays like a star?
because she leads the WNBA in rebounding. That would be one
Yeah,
way,
but scoring is more important, and she cannot score very well.
right? So I think she counts as a star,
She's well known.
and I would
Sure.
go number one because she's well known, and number two because she leads the league in rebounding.
Okay, yeah.
So I would put her at, and I think those words are dumb. And when you talk about, when they ask Halliburton, is he a superstar? I just think that's a dumb question.
Yeah, who cares? The thing, though, about this game is this is your first ever game, and they did it obviously because of Caitlin versus Reese
Yep.
gets the most buzz and talk. But you don't have Caitlin. Well, that takes away almost everything because guess what? Chicago's a really bad team.
Boy,
So you
they-
have a bad team playing right now, a middle of the road team, and that's your first one. It should actually probably been Liberty and okay, you want Caitlin there, but you didn't know she's gonna be injured.
Liberty Lynx
Liberty and Fever, yeah.
or
But
Lynx,
yeah, if you wanted the best teams, yeah, Liberty Lynx, something like that.
right? So in my circles, I am a rare person. I'm going to do this before I say bad things about her. I am a rare person who defends Angel Reese. And my one is, I would say, when it comes to intensity and rebounding, she always delivers. Like,
I don't actually have a lot of bad things to say about Angel Reese. I think it's mainly fan culture that makes it into this extreme craziness. So
if
boom on the
she's-
fans,
if she's maybe Bill Laimbeer, She's maybe Dennis Rodman.
She's very intense. I rooted for her when she was on LSU
Yeah.
because I wanted them to beat, I want to say South Carolina because I was tired of South Carolina winning. So I don't have an Angel Reese problem.
And so then the bad part, I'll ask you first. Why would you say Chicago seems so bad? By the way, they would have been tied with the Fever if they beat them. And they had come in winning 2 games in a row, but they don't seem very good. Why not?
Well, I didn't see a lot of shots being made,
Yeah.
right?
I
Basketball
mean,
is at the end of the day about scoring points and scoring more points than the other person.
they
Uh,
play Angel Reese and Cardoza, whose range is about 6 feet. Um,
exactly.
and they
And the
also
percentage probably isn't that high, is it? I mean, as
and
high as it
they
should be.
they travel a lot and they don't pass very well, especially Cardoza. So you're giving up so much spacing. And then their guards are really ordinary normal.
Right.
So they're playing with
Maybe
two
they
big.
shouldn't have these two players be
No,
there.
they
They should
shouldn't.
trade one. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they're both good players.
Right. That's what I mean.
Um,
You can't have both of them.
yeah, and I do think maybe Angel Reese will become, well, she's not going to become Kevin Love. Maybe she'll become a little bit more functional from three. I think they hoped she could play up high in the slot and throw high lows to Cardoza and then play center when Cardoza's not in. But it looks bad.
Right.
And then maybe I meant to check this morning. It looked like Vandersloot bad knee injury.
Yeah. I assumed she felt like she tore her
Yeah.
ACL or something, and she probably won't come back because of her age.
And so now
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot of Haley Van Lith. And my thought has been she looks overwhelmed, but then she changed my mind a little bit in the second half. So I'm interested to see what Haley Van Lith does going forward.
Right. Maybe she just needs more playing time, more experience. At least she has a certain mentality, I guess.
And then are you worried about the Fever?
I'm not worried about him because I don't care that much. So no, I don't worry. But
Ouch.
I'll say
Don't say
this.
that to all of our fans who join. All the people on the Fever Facebook pages come to hear their friends Ann and Bill talk about the Fever, and you don't care.
I enjoy the Fever, but I don't sweat their wins and losses too
You
much.
sweat the Pacers more.
I do now, but in during the season, I don't sweat Pacers wins and losses either.
Mhm.
Although I do follow them, and I do look at the scores after, but I don't make a point of watching the games. I would say I'd watch it more if Caitlin was playing. I do like them, and for the entirety of their existence, I've always felt like, oh, I want the Fever to do well because I'm a Indiana person and
Right.
I have good thoughts for the
How many
Fever.
years did you live in the Brownsburg, Indianapolis area?
I lived there a good 10, 12 years, I would
Yeah,
think.
right. I
Yeah,
thought it was pretty long.
yeah. So I have good thoughts for them. I'm just saying I don't worry about them. I don't like that turn of phrase. And I think what they need to do now is what they're doing. Keep your heads above water, get some wins. You're going to get some losses, and get Caitlin back, and then you'll be fine. That's what I think. Is that overestimating?
No, I think fandom wise first. Regular season games, I would go Fever 1, Pacers 2. Do I even care about another team? I mean, I could throw the Panthers in there, 3. Maybe I'm forgetting someone, but the Panthers are always so bad that I quit watching them pretty early in the season. Um, so one, the Fever have built a really nice team around Caitlin. I mean, the same way the Mavericks were built for Doncic, the
Yeah, I
Fever
mean,
are
how
built
fortunate for the Indiana Fever that they got Caitlin Clark. I mean, it's like it changes everything.
changes everything.
It
It's
changes
unbelievable.
everything. I was looking at valuations of WNBA
Yeah,
franchises,
I did too.
and I think Indiana was number two, which is crazy in consideration of success on the court and consideration of market, right? Small
And
market
we
team, and it's
think,
all because of Caitlin Clark.
and we kind of think she likes it.
Yeah, I think actually it's a great fit for her, right? She's from Iowa. She's not somebody looking for big city life, apparently. I don't know.
We think her boyfriend is a Pacer coach.
Yeah, her fiance isn't he a fiance? I don't know. He's a pacer or he's a
Is that
pacer guy.
did
So
they
it
just
actually
get
worked perfectly.
did they just get lucky on that?
I don't know. Did the Pacers hire him? Like, hey, I have no
I mean,
idea.
I don't
I
know.
mean, they couldn't manipulate themselves into the first pick. So
So I think something, and this is something I think about a lot. You move from this. offense where one person has the ball constantly, and I have just finished 2 years of being a head coach, 2 years of being assistant, where one person has the ball constantly, and you move to this, I mean, equal opportunity maybe that you move to this offense where you want the ball popping, pass, drive, etc. So you're wanting people to make super quick decisions, which you still, Steph Curry would say you should make quick decisions, but just where Caitlin is really dribbling a lot. To now, I think I see the Fever adjusting. Lexi Hall is making more plays. She's driving. She's creating her own shots. She's creating shots for other people. So it's a drastic change in the offense. I see them making the change. I totally agree. Can we be a couple above 500 when Caitlin comes back? And then if Caitlin doesn't come back, they're a 6 or 7 seed at best, losing in the first round, probably.
Right. I mean, basically, you want to make the playoffs and then hope that Caitlin's there, right?
Yeah. I mean, right now I thought the Dream were pretty good. Um, but right now the Lynx and the Liberty are a lot better than everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
The Dream lose to the Sun. Is that Connecticut? I always get all my Suns and
Connecticut Sun.
Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I told you the Valkyries hammered the Aces. So, and then I think another, I wonder how that Kelsey Plum trade is looking for. Not that that's the reason for the Aces. And then we got like 7 new coaches. How many misses are there on these coaches?
Right. I do think the Kelsey Plum really hurt the
Maybe
Aces. Yeah.
they traded her
It's,
though, right?
I forget what
They
happened.
got. I think they got Jewel Lloyd as their point guard now.
I think Kelsey Plum was looking to leave, so perhaps it was a money thing. I don't know. Funny, this is off the subject, but Phoenix Mercury, Phoenix Sun, what are we doing there?
No, I know. We were
Just the
talking about that.
planets and the.
No, it's heat, right? The sun, the heat. What? Why? So the Connecticut Sun.
Sun. Yeah, why
I
are
think
they
that has to
sun?
do with Native Americans in some way.
It might. I think they might even have partial ownership or
Oh,
something.
they play
Yeah.
at Mohegan Sun.
Right. They played the Mohegan Sun. I guess it's probably Mohegan Sun was called that before. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I'm saying what now?
You're saying the casino existed before the team and the casino had that name
Yes,
of the Sun. And
that's
so they
right.
were like, well, we'll call it the Sun.
So
Yeah.
it's hard for us because then we have the
We have the
Phoenix
Phoenix
Sun,
Suns. Yeah.
Suns, and then we have the Phoenix Mercury.
Right. And Mercury and a sun, it just seems crazy to me. But
That fits nicely, but the Connecticut Sun
the
confuses.
Connecticut Sun throw the wrinkle in it. And then you have these mystics from Washington. What are we going with the mystic? And the fever. They're crazy names all around. Valkyries. I mean, what are we even talking about?
So Charlotte, Charlotte is trying to, in addition to all of her other workouts, she's shooting 100 threes and 100 free throws in the backyard. We have that narrow outdoor court. So we kind of talked about there's one team whose mascot is way better than everyone else's.
Well, the one that gets all the press is Ellie the Elephant.
No,
Um,
I'm talking about the pro team, the WNBA teams.
that's what I'm talking about.
The elephant.
Ellie
Oh,
the
we're
Elephant?
we're talking about the name of the map. They're not the
Oh, you're not
elephant.
talking about the mascot.
They're
You're
not the
talking,
LA Elephants.
yeah, but the New York Ellie Elephant. Yeah, but you
Oh,
said
right.
mascots.
No,
But yeah,
okay, I'm
okay.
sorry.
You mean the
So,
nickname.
yeah, nickname is what I meant to say.
To me, the Valkyrie is the best nickname. What do you think
Hmm.
is the best nickname?
Aces.
Oh, I mean, it's synergy for Las Vegas. Yeah,
Oof. And
yeah.
that card and yeah, the spit, the
Maybe as a
shine.
Norwegian, I just think Valkyrie is cooler.
Yeah, I do think Valkyries is pretty good, but weirdly specific for that. Why San Francisco Valkyries?
Yeah, I don't know. Right, remind me what? The Sparks. I hate it. Yeah, the Los Angeles Sparks. I don't like that
They,
at all.
it's a league that's heavy on like weather, like the
Hmm.
heat, the fever. I mean, I know sun means something.
Fever's not weather, but yeah, fever is
No, I
something.
mean
Yeah,
temperature. Just
it's a
like
medical
it's
condition,
not like a
actually.
lynx. A lynx. The lynx are a rare animal.
Right, and you have
I
the
mean,
stars, I
we're
guess.
used to animals.
Yeah,
I like stars. Stars is a good one, I think.
yeah,
Okay. So that was off the top of our head, Ann. We were awesome at that.
yeah. I just think they really tried to go outside the box. Basically, the storm. You're right. That's weather. Yeah.
So a lot of complaints about the Fever coach. Um, I'm good. I hope the players like her. Oh, I know. The guy who stepped in seemed good.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before,
Stephanie
but
White is very calm, which I like. And this guy was even a little smiley clappy.
Oh, smiley clappy.
And he
Okay.
was nicely technical. I realize some people's strategy when they get interviewed on the sideline is to say nothing. But I thought what he said was on point, and it was very specific, and it was something that was practical. And he smiled, so I liked it.
Well, I feel like the coach this year, I don't know who's complaining about it, but I feel like she's a step up from last year. So they shouldn't really
Christy
complain too
Sides.
much.
Yeah, I didn't have any I had no complaints on Christy Sides. I don't even know what I would say. Um, I don't know what I would say negative. I didn't even get that many bad vibes. I guess I think it probably had to do with the players. The players must be saying something. So what do the players say about the Knicks coach? Does this come from the players?
You mean why did Tibbs get fired?
Why did Tibbs get fired?
I don't know. I think it actually had to do probably also with media criticism. Maybe they start taking that to heart because the whole
Boy,
year people complained about him.
yeah.
Actually, they complained less in the playoffs because he kind of adapted. So maybe they took that to heart. And yeah, perhaps maybe some of these players are saying something. But then you have the whole Jalen Brunson dad coach wrinkle. So
That is weird. It's weird. It's also
I don't
weird.
think Jalen Brunson wanted him fired, right?
I kind of don't think so. And
Yeah, I
right,
wouldn't think
unless
so.
Jalen Brunson's and his dad don't like it, they're not going to hire Jalen Brunson's dad, are they?
I wouldn't think so. As a head coach, no.
But
I think the
and
other players would.
he'll
Yeah,
stay on staff, right?
I think he'll probably be assumed that you have to accept him on your staff.
It was funny because I was thinking about how difficult that would be, and oh, the irony, hypocrisy. I was an assistant on my
Right.
kids' staff, so it's like, but I know what I'm like. You know what I mean? I
I
know
think
that.
for me, I can't really say on Rick Brunson, I believe that's his name. I can't say, well, if it's a bad thing or good thing, because I don't know what he is like as a coach.
Right,
What
we
do
don't know.
people think he is like as a coach? If they think he's bad, well, then yeah, it's bad. It's obviously nepotism. But if they think he's a good coach, well, then fine. But I don't know the answer to that, so I don't know how to
Because
criticize it.
I think Brunson played for Van Gundy, Jeff. And I guess they kind of didn't answer the question. Reggie Miller said to stand Van Gundy, I want to hear from Jeff what kind of player Brunson was, the dad. And then he didn't say. I felt like he may have dodged the question. So I don't know. I have no idea
And then you also had the whole DiVincenzo weird thing going on in their first game of the
when they
regular
were yelling at
season.
each
And they
other.
were
Yeah.
yelling at each other, which made me think, oh, they don't really like Rick Brunson. I don't know.
I think what happened is they were all buddies. That's a pack. That's a tight group. And a circle of the Knicks said it's better for us to get rid of whatever his name is.
DiVincenzo.
It's better to we need to get rid of him to make our team better. And so he probably felt betrayed.
He was personally offended. Yeah.
It'd be like, I mean, it's not me trading you, but it's, me trading the
Right.
kid of my
We
best
were
friend.
on the kickball team together, and you were like, Ann, you're going to go over to this team because actually this trade really benefits us. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, what?
We
Yeah.
want we want Mike Tankersley for Ann Torgerson on the kickball team.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That would actually be a bigger betrayal because it's not professional
Oh.
sports.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
It's
going to
a
say
summer sport, and he's trading me. Yeah, that's
I
pretty
thought you were
crappy.
going to say you and Mike Tankersley are probably equal kickball players.
Oh no, I doubt that.
All right. So, anything else, Ann, on the Fever?
No, I mean my main point was, boy, that McDonald looked good. She's not going to stay.
She's very intense on defense.
Bonner didn't impress me very much. I guess I know you're still on with her, but I don't know.
Mm,
She's coming off the bench now. I mean,
she's been coming off the bench mostly.
oh, I thought Natasha Howard looked good. I liked her.
Yeah. So Bonner, she came off the bench late for the Sun, back to the Connecticut Sun when she was playing for Stephanie White. And I thought that might be a pretty negative situation. And so when she came with the Fever, I was like, oh, they must get along. I think she's important and they need her. Um, and she's not going to shoot a high percentage and she can get her shot off because she's so tall at the end of the shot clock. And her length is a nice experienced bench player.
Okay.
I think she's a really solid rotational player. I mean, do you want to play someone else? You would want, I don't even know who you would want because you wouldn't even say Dantas. Is that her name?
I think
The-
so. Yeah.
I don't even think you'd say you want her for
Okay.
Bonner. Maybe you would. She's the four, right? She's kind of a stretch
I
four.
guess if she's accepting her play as a role player now, she's okay with it, then great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess my
Nolan,
last thing I'll say is Lexi Hall, I never saw this for you. I never believed in you. So
I know.
congrats. You really proven me wrong.
3 years ago, we were like,
I was
eh.
like, get this girl off. She doesn't
She
have
was
to be.
shooting a low percentage and
Yeah.
playing tentative.
And
And
now she's out there, pretty intense, making some big shots. Like it.
I think her and Kelsey Mitchell are happy. They want Caitlin back, but they're happy to have the chance to do more
Right. Yeah.
right now. Okay. So last topic, last full topic that we prepared for, we might fit a little Phoenician in at the end. Um, I called this section living on purpose. I tell people that I live in Boone, North Carolina on purpose. And you moved to LA with no job. And now how long have you been there?
I want to say 14 years,
So
2013, whatever that would be.
you super duper live in Los Angeles on purpose. Um,
Yes.
I asked you to rank the reasons why. How many reasons did you come up with?
I thought you told me five, so I ranked five.
Good.
Yeah.
Should we go to 5 to 1 or should we go 1 to 5?
Whichever one you want to go.
I think we should probably go with the most important reasons.
Okay. My number one important reason, which I think will throw a wrinkle, people will be surprised. Maybe not, because I talk about this a lot. Walking. I
Yeah.
mean, people love to say LA is not a walking city. Well, I'm here to tell you it is. Yes, there are bazillions of cars, and no, it's not like New York City. But I like the fact that I can walk. I could walk for 4 hours and still be in the city, and I can see pristine neighborhoods like Beverly Hills and the most amazing, crazy houses. Uh, and then I can also walk through Silver Lake and be in funky, interesting weirdo place and Echo Park and stuff. So to me, and I can also walk, just like I did this morning, walk through the streets and end up in a up, in the mountains at the Santa Monica Mountains and walk up there without ever leaving the city. So number one, walking.
And that was tremendous.
Well, thank you.
And I think, people like to say that, and what they mean is, I can't live here and walk down to this restaurant and what, but
But you can.
but you actually can if you in your neighborhood. And if you just walk like up one street, the length of Beverly Hills, and circle around the next street and start walking the other direction, you can walk forever.
Exactly. That's what
And
I'm
you've
saying.
you've picked the spot. And actually, if you lived out at Manhattan Beach as Rusilla's neighbor, you could walk forever there too.
You absolutely could. And I do think I have a really good spot to walk, though. That's true.
So I really like where you live for that reason. Would it be nice to live a little closer to Griffith Park or the other place you walk?
Well, I used to live right next to Griffith
I
Park,
know.
and I did enjoy it. Um,
High rent moved you from there or job?
no, distance from the job. It saved me at least half hour. So it is actually important.
Yeah.
I probably liked it a little bit more, but here I can actually walk to other things too that I couldn't walk through here. Here I could walk to the Grove. I can walk to Beverly Hills. There I was pretty much Griffith Park, Silver Lake, Los Feliz.
So you on the last Russillo podcast, somebody asked about where they should go, and they had no answers really. And you gave it that was a really nice, concise list of places to check out.
Oh, wonderful. Well, great. Glad you
Okay,
liked it. What's your
so
number
I have
one?
a three word answer that I'll elaborate on. Green Mountains water.
Green Mountains Water. Yes.
Green Mountains
Landscape.
water. So when I look out, like I'm looking to my right now. If you're watching, you can see. Um, I can probably see 8 to 10 miles of a valley with mountains in the distance. In the winter, I can see the lighted ski slopes out there in the distance. Um, so that moves me in a way, and I think sitting on a porch looking at 40 miles of corn in the distance, that's beautiful. The Grand Canyon is beautiful. The Rocky Mountains are beautiful, but none of those things sort of, and I'm not this kind of guy, stir my spirit the way that the Watauga River on rocks with the mountains in the distance. That gets me the most. And I feel like it's an inherent thing in me that I don't control, and I'm a big control logic guy than an emotion guy. But that's what I would say about being here.
Right. Okay. Good one. Number
Oh,
two is the most obvious one, and it was one of the major reasons I moved here, the weather. Um,
yep.
in the winter, it is not cold. It'll get maybe 50 occasionally, and you'll be like, oh my God, it's freezing. I'm going to die. The weather is perfect. When it's a beautiful sunny day, 70 degrees, there's nothing better to it in my life. So the weather.
And your cold days in the winter are what? And your hot days in the summer are what?
Well, I just said the cold days in the winter are like 50, but
Hmm.
that's even probably a little low. I mean, sometimes it's 60, 70. Hot days, it can be get really hot. In the afternoons, it could be 90 for sure. Now, over the hill, the Santa Monica Mountains, it gets hotter up there. So it could be really hot. I'm talking about Burbank, Studio City, Encino, Calabasas. Those places get really hot. But here in the basin of LA is what they call it. It doesn't quite get that hot. And
If
if
you,
you're on the coast, it's going to be even cooler. So
let's say that you could afford $1,000 more a month, apartment wise, would you shift neighborhoods or you just get a better place in your neighborhood?
I think I would just get a better place in my neighborhood. I think if I won the lottery, it would really take me a long time to decide where to buy my house in LA because I,
Yeah.
I would be torn.
Side note, just about how the way I like to research and think and plan. If I had money to build my own house with a lot of options, I can't even imagine how long it would take me to make up my mind what I would do.
Right. Yeah. It'd be too much. I can't have
I
this kind
can't
of
remember where we
options.
were. We've been looking at, I mean, we sometimes think about moving to Boone. I'm 7 miles from Boone or Blowing Rock. And somebody was getting to make some choices building, and Megan and I were talking about how difficult that would be. All right, my number two, um, college town of Appalachian State. So going way back to growing up in Indiana, I thought living in Bloomington, Indiana, where you could, there were 10 bars and 10 restaurants and maybe a lot more on Kirkwood, which dead ended into campus. I've always thought for me that's an ideal kind of place to live.
Right. A college atmosphere town. Yeah.
So in Boone, it's King Street, which is, the businesses, the restaurants, bars, and businesses around King Street are adjacent to Appalachian State University, and there's mountains on both sides. I think a town like Amherst, which is a funny town to bring up, but I would be in that town or University of Kentucky or UNC. I've always thought I would want to live in a college town. I realize I'm 7 miles outside of that town, but that really drew me to here.
Okay. My number third is kind of what you already said. I forget what you called it, but I'm calling it landscape. The fact that I have an ocean, 30 minutes away, I have an ocean. And also every day I see the Santa Monica Mountains in the distance. I can actually walk to the Santa Monica Mountains. Also, I can go a couple hours and I can go to a top level ski resort if I wanted to. The desert actually is pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
I got national parks, within a 5, 6 hour drive. So to me, the landscape would be a big one. The flowers, that kind of thing that you see. I like all that.
Once a week. So if you know going to my house from Boone, some of the sharpest curves that you will ever drive, some of the steepest inclines with the biggest fall offs on the edge. Once a week, I'm still like, I can't believe I live here. Look at those mountains.
All right, and also when I go up these twisty roads to look at houses in the hills, those are pretty cool because you'll be up these tiny
Where do
roads.
you and I mean, so Megan and I went for this really long walk in Blowing Rock. And I've always been a person who did this, and I think you are too. Where does it come from that we like to like just walk through neighborhoods and look at houses?
I think a lot of people like to do that,
Yeah,
so I
so
don't think
it's
it's.
just a common thing people
I
do.
think it's a common thing people like to do. But yeah, we certainly have always liked it. We liked it even in Indiana, right? It's just that now we're looking at more interesting places. Another thing too, when I walk, the birds I hear, it's like these crazy birds out here, man. I enjoy that.
Not enough that you've tried to learn what they are.
Singing birds, yeah.
All right, I've got these are not super tight categories, but I have three more. It's a place other people come on vacation. I mean, is that a reason you would live
It's a
there?
vacation spot and you get to live there. Well, how many times do people go on vacation and be like, oh, wouldn't it be great to live here? So you actually do live in a vacation spot.
That's the
You know what I'm
way
saying?
that's what I
Yeah.
mean when I say that. So if I live probably 2 miles from the Valley Crucis Park. It's maybe 2 miles of flat land, bordered by the Watauga River, surrounded by the mountains. And walk my dog Indy there. And often more than half of the people are on vacation.
Right. Yeah. How
And
many times have I walked the Hollywood Griffith Park and been like, people have been like, how do I get to that? How do I get to this? And I'm like, millions, I mean, millions of vacationers. Yeah.
because I definitely have, I mean, and when I lived in New York City, and I didn't love living in New York City. And something again, just to reiterate, if I made $5 million a year, I think I would enjoy living in New York
Right. Yeah.
City a
Yeah.
lot more. But on my teaching salary, I didn't. And we used to go places in the mountains, like upstate New York, and we would say, "Can you, we're in Woodstock or something? Can you imagine living here?" And so now we live there. So that's great. All right,
Right.
what's your next one?
Okay. Number four, deeper one. You ready?
Yeah.
Diversity.
Oh, great
I
one.
walk the street. I walk neighbor. I can go to little Tokyo. I can go to little Chinatown. I have street smells of all, I see all colors, all people of all over the world here. The diversity is a great thing. Diversity of food, diversity of culture, parades, everything. It's here. And everybody can live here.
So the thing I used to say all the time about St. John's, and the thing I miss the most about teaching in New York City, over 100 different languages spoken on the campus of St. John's University. So to sit in that classroom where people were from all over the world, and of course, selfishly worked out for me, everybody speaks English. um,
Right.
that to like hear everyone's perspective and have friends that I enjoy, and I'm talking about students, people that I laugh with and learn from weekly. I really miss that. And then if you watch Fox News or read the New York Times or watch, you can feel pretty hopeless about the world. But when I would be around those kids, those 20-year-olds from all over the world, you could get pretty excited and hopeful about what the world could be. Maybe
Yeah.
that's naive because there's always money.
Even my workplace, it's like my workplace probably has like 150 people totally. And, maybe a third or 40% are white, and the rest are all from all sorts of places in the world, American and non-American. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
And then I have listed, this is related probably to the landscape. Oh, you know what, Ann? This is your number one.
Oh, hit it. Oh, you have
Uh,
great walks in Boone.
I mean,
Yeah.
the way I put it was the way that 50 minutes in the woods can unwind tension. And I was first introduced to that. I don't even know why I started doing this. I moved to Charlotte when I was about 30, got divorced, kind of wanted to start over in life, enrolled in graduate school at UNC Charlotte. And I started driving up here by myself mostly, and eventually bought like a single person tent. And I would just it was a really difficult job at Vance, now Chambers, just number of students, pressure, students angry and fighting, and it was intense teaching. In the way that like I would be in the woods for 20 minutes and think I shouldn't have come up here. I have too much work to do. And then once I got into that 50-minute, 90-minute mark, I felt great. And so I think you probably experience the same thing when you're walking.
Right. If I'm feeling a little antsy or something, I'll just walk to the end of the road and back, or into this little neighborhood and back, and I'll clear my mind. I will give Boone props, or that area, uh, great hikes in the North Carolina mountains, Appalachian Mountains, incredible hikes. I still think sometimes about that rainy hike we did with the falls from the Mohicans,
Oh,
last Mohicans.
Oh no, that's over by Asheville at DuPont.
Bridal Falls, is that what?
DuPont, yeah,
Yeah.
in DuPont State Park.
It was raining, bad weather, but still, I think about that waterfall sometimes.
So I think probably the biggest drawback, I don't know if it's the biggest. Yeah, maybe one of the main drawbacks of where I live is there's no really going for a run from my house or walking the dog from my house. People do go out there and ride their bikes, but it's a narrow, winding
Feel
mountain
unsafe.
road where
Yeah,
there's a great chance that one of these people who drives right in the middle of the road would run you over.
right.
So, like, we were in Blowing Rock, and we walked for about an hour and 10 minutes around Blowing Rock. We didn't even go on a trail. There's a trail, um, spacing the name. Um, boy, it has a falls name, Gurney Falls Trail, where I think it's 3 miles out and back. There's another trail where you could walk around. You could walk on sidewalk, and then you could walk around Bass Lake, not our Bass Lake, and from Indiana, which is a mile, and then you could walk like 3 miles all the way up a mountain to the parkway. So if we lived in Boone, there's certain spots if we lived in Boone or Blowing Rock where we could do those multiple hour walks from the house. Okay, and we both like walking where we live.
Okay, this is my last one. And this is based on, I guess, entertainment, right? So
Mm,
sports, I got all the sports here.
yeah.
I got two Major League Soccer teams I could go to, which I don't, but I could. I have two NBA teams. I have a baseball team. I have a WNBA team. All top tier teams. Movies. If there's a movie released in the theater, it's going to be released in the LA area somewhere.
Yeah.
So I could see strange art house movies. I could see any movie I want. Music. Almost every artist will probably have a stop in Los Angeles. Maybe not every single tour, but you can see major musical artists anytime you want here. So entertainment, things to do, endless.
And to your credit, you do those things.
I do. If I have to go by myself, I go by
You
myself.
went to a
Yes.
Clipper game. I think you went and saw the Dodgers. Yes or no?
I have, yes.
You go to
Because I get free
concerts.
tickets sometimes at work,
Yeah.
yes.
And you go to concerts.
And I go to concerts, exactly. I need to find some concerts this year. I don't have any.
So I said as my last reason, people here are friendly, chill, and helpful. And for example, that was not my experience driving the Grand Central Parkway in Queens, New York,
Right? Yeah.
where if you put your turn signal on, that tells everyone close up these gaps, don't let them in.
Right. I do that sometimes here in LA too. It's like, why are you having a gap there? Everybody's going to go in front of you. Get close.
And then like they have these weird entrance ramps in at least in Queens. People have to let you in. They have all the you like get on a little road next to the road, and people have to let you over, and they won't let you over. It's like they almost don't have merge lanes or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're old school lanes.
now
Yeah.
people here are a little talky. They carry out that conversation a little longer than I might like, but just people being people friendly, chill, and helpful. All right.
I do understand people saying city people are nice, blah, blah, blah. But in my experience, people are very nice still. They're just people. Yes, traffic can get intense. That's true. And you probably will witness more fights in a big city or something, but most people are nice. Most people are good people.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to New York, I would say there's just a speed and
Maybe you just have
aggression.
to have an edge to survive, right?
Yes. Boy, you made me think of a whole bunch of things. Now I did know a lot of abrasive, gruff, aggressive people who would buy me lunch, who would help me move, who would bring me a meal if I hurt my leg. I mean, so it wasn't that the people I knew weren't generous and helpful and kind, but they also would scream at tourists who were staring up at the tall
Right.
buildings in New York City, keeping them from catching their
I have
subway.
heard a cliche saying, "Oh, the New York people look mean but are kind, and the LA people are look kind but are mean." I mean, I wouldn't agree with it, but the surface isn't always true. That's true. Because a lot of people
LA,
say that Americans are really friendly, but it's like a fake friendly. It's like a hi on the street. Where in Europe, people aren't going to say hi to you in the street.
so
Uh,
I'll go back to this. I mean, it's a New York City is a huge city, etc. You can't look at people and smile.
right? Yeah.
I mean, you're inviting so much that negative, whatever it is that, the person trying to sell you something, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What are you looking at? Somebody might say that. Whereas,
Right. Like even, you don't want to be, I don't want to ignore homeless people, But if I lock eyes with a homeless person, they might attack me, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or they might start screaming at me. So yeah, you avert your eyes. Yeah.
So we were in Blowing Rock for the third time I bring this up. Megan and I start walking and kind of down a hill on a porch. This older woman yells up, "Are y'all neighbors?" We're like, "No, we live in Valley Crucis." And she was like, "We're having wine." Um, three
She
different,
invite you up for wine?
she didn't quite. I do
She
think
just said she was having
we
wine.
kept moving. I think if we would have turned, she probably would have happily poured us a glass of wine. She had company. It wasn't
Yeah.
like she was by herself. Three different people talked to me about my Pacers shirt. Um, we saw three people we knew. People would smile and wave. Some of them were on vacation. Some of them probably live in Blowing Rock. So it's just that vibe is so different, right?
Right. I almost wore my Pacers shirt yesterday when I saw the movie. And I thought, what if somebody starts asking me about it?
I think they would have.
I don't want to do
I
it.
mean, when I
So
put my shirt on, I told Megan, okay, I guess I feel like talking about the Pacers tonight.
yeah,
So
I
I,
did
I
wear it to work before the finals while they're playing the Knicks, and I did get asked about it, of course, a couple times, but that was fine. It was almost like I was inviting them to, but I just didn't want the regular,
we had
city.
dinner at the Blowing Rock Brewery, which I highly recommend, and I saw a parent of a player at the bar, so I walked in there. We were going to sit outside. I walked in there to say hello to him, and someone screamed at me, "No Pacer fans in here!" So I had to talk to that guy too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I just have two really aside. That was a good city. I enjoyed that. That was good talks. We love our cities. I too enjoy Boone, so I got nothing negative to say about
I
that.
really like LA. I
All
think
right. Love
it would
Fest.
be high ranking. If I was moving to a city, I think it would be number one. If it was like population has to be over 500,000, I would pick LA. I
Well,
think.
when I moved here, I needed a place that was huge. That was number one. Well, that's really limiting.
Yeah.
You know how many cities?
Chicago,
Yeah.
LA. Is Seattle huge?
I mean, it would have counted a
Hu-
city, a city.
Houston, Dallas.
Yeah, I needed a real city. But number two, it had to be warm.
Yeah, I know.
I know this is distant memory, but I do suffer from this little thing, Raynaud's disease,
No, I remember.
where my fingers will get white if they get slightly cold. And it really solved it. I really don't have that problem too much anymore,
And
although
then what?
occasionally.
And you haven't even been to Miami, so we couldn't even talk
Yeah, I
about
haven't even been to Miami.
Tampa.
Is Miami even big enough? I've been to Florida and I did the Florida thing. So
I think
anyway, that's
I
major
think
reason.
Orlando ruined the rest of Florida for you.
Ruined the rest of Florida for me. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Florida has more to offer, at least starting with Miami.
Okay. I just got two things that are totally off the topic. I saw a TikTok, Bill,
Yep.
a water hole in Africa. The water hole was obviously man-made. It had rocks around it. Pretty hard to get out of, is what I'm saying. Elephants and gazelles walking around this water hole. This gazelle is in the water hole and cannot get out. This elephant stuck his little trunk in there,
Oh,
grabbed his antenna. What do you call these things? Antlers, and pulled him out.
oh my gosh.
Elephants. What are you,
Incredible.
the greatest little animals in the world? Helping out other animals
So
like
now
that?
you owe me, what's the first thing you owe me?
What do you mean, oh you?
You were going to send me a picture of something after we got done
Was
from
I?
from the beginning.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah.
Dang, going because now you could send me this clip as
Well,
well.
I'll try to find it. It blew my
Maybe we'll
mind.
remember what it was once we log off.
Two is going to be a little advertisement, right? Although now I'm forgetting the name. So when you hike Runyons, sometimes, especially in the summer, and summer has just started, on a weekend, there'll be people giving you free stuff.
Hmm.
They'll give you free drinks and stuff. So today I took a free drink
Why do they do that?
promo. They want people
Oh
to
yeah, like
start
Megan
drinking their
Torgerson in
drinks.
real estate, hand you a water bottle as you walk up
Right. Yeah.
running.
But this is more like, no, this is more like we have this new drink and we want people to start drinking it,
Gatorade
And
Zero.
that's what it was. And I want to say it was Regen.
Yeah.
Anyway, great drink.
Huh.
I grabbed it. I couldn't read. She's like, pick any flavor you want, but I couldn't see because I don't have my reading glasses. So I just grabbed one. It was berry. I was like, oh, I'm not
You
gonna
don't
like
take your
berry.
reading glasses?
No, I was like, I'm not gonna like berry. Loved it. Great drink. Those are my two off facts.
And you don't know who bottles it or anything.
No,
Did she tell you
Regen.
where? Did she tell you where you could get it?
No. She was like, would you like a drink? I said, yes.
Yeah, she should have at least said like available at your local
She
grocery.
had just got there and was setting up still kind of.
I like that as a promotion. Good job.
Yeah, you should sometime if you're ever here in LA on a weekend, go to Runyon, like 9 o'clock. You might get something free
So
in the
this is
summer.
we've been pretty long, but I do. I think you should tell us briefly about the Phoenician.
Phoenician Scheme.
Oh,
It's called the
Phoenician
Phoenician
scheme. Let
Scheme.
me add the word scheme to my note.
Yeah, the Phoenician Scheme. Uh, you know, Phoenicia, I guess. I mean, that isn't even a real country, right? It used to be a country. Anyway, Wes Anderson movie. Normally, I say this as a person who doesn't think Wes Anderson. I'm not a huge fan. I like some of his music
So,
movies.
so I've seen Moonrise Kingdom and like that, and I kind of am drawing a blank on the rest.
I saw this animated show, Mr. Fox. Really liked it. Funny. The most famous one would be the one with Ben Stiller and Gene Hackman. Can't think of and Gwyneth Paltrow. What was that called? I can't think of it.
Tenenbaums.
Yes, the Royal Tenenbaums. Thank you. Good job. I've seen the last
And
one.
shocked that I,
I am shocked you got that. The Asteroid City, I think it was called, and it was okay. The only reason I went to this is because I have my movie pass right now for 3 months.
right.
And so I went and I laughed out loud. I mean, his movies are so stylized and so unrealistic that it's like a fantasy. I don't know what it is.
It's a
And I
farce.
do I do like the style that he has. He has this 50s, kind of a
Yes.
50s style,
The
right? Yeah.
color, the way it looks.
The way it looks and the things like the technology is like 50s. It's just very 50s to me. You're not going to see a cell phone in
Was
a.
Michael, how much was Michael Cera in it? I really like him.
He was really funny. I would rank him number two. He
Yeah.
was in a lot. It was basically Benicio del Toro,
Who I like.
an actress. I can't remember Mia. I think Mia Stapleton. Anyway, I found out later she is Kate Winslet's daughter. She's the best part. She's
Oh, really?
actually really great. Go nepotism. Sometimes nepotism is fine because they're really talented. And then Michael Cera and the other people were all just kind of had little tiny parts, right? Like Tom Hanks, little tiny part. But yeah, it's like every time an actor comes up, it's like, oh my God, it's blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I laughed out loud, really enjoyed it. Fun movie.
All right. I'll probably see it. I bet I'll see it.
You should see it, I think. I think you'd like it.
So I told you that I bought Landman.
Right. Which I
So
don't
that,
know much about. I've heard Bill Simmons talk about it. It doesn't seem like a show I'd like, but
so
go for
that
it.
used to be that you couldn't buy it. We had a little period when it came to shows. I guess this is always on Amazon, where you could go onto Amazon and buy a show. And I felt like that kind of
Yeah.
went away with the streaming.
But you
Like
could do that on Apple too, I think. You could buy a season of a show.
I bet I don't. A month ago, 6 weeks ago, you could not buy Landman anywhere. So I think it newly went for sale on
Does it
Amazon.
stream for free on Amazon?
No, I paid $20
Where
for.
did it originally stream for free?
I know it's one of the ones I don't subscribe to.
Okay.
Not Peacock. What's another one?
Peacock, Hulu,
No, keep going.
Apple, Amazon. That's all I know.
Oh, should we? I don't know. I can't.
BBC, We'll talk about it and I'll Google it.
Okay. Um, I'm really happy with it. So I see a lot of TikToks with Landman. And I was telling Megan about it. So first, what's good about it? I like Billy
Oh, it's
Bob
on Paramount. Yeah, that's why.
Paramount. Yeah, right. Thank
I
you.
don't get
So it's
that.
like that's a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, to subscribe to Paramount. What does Paramount have?
A big thing I had for years was Yellowstone. People love that.
Oh, right.
I don't love it, but yeah,
So Billy Bob Thornton, where are you at with him?
he's fine. I mean, I'm not a super fan. And another reason the other guy I don't love either is John
You don't
Hamm in
like
it.
Ham. You don't like John
I,
Hamm.
I, I don't like is too strong. He is a good actor and he is funny sometimes, but I don't know. There's something about him I don't like.
So one, it's showing me this world I can't fathom. Just like they're sharing this land with drug runners, and the drug runners steal planes and trucks, and they don't really tell anybody. It's just an understanding that they'll bring it back. Um, it's super dangerous. Like they have this. This is not the thing to tell you, but I guess I'm telling you. I told Megan and the girls just like it's the sun's not up yet. It's 5:30 in the morning in Texas, and there's some girl, Babes and Brews, and she's serving coffees, and there's 40 trucks in line to get their coffee from this girl in a bikini. It's just a weird world that I could never conceive exists. And then he has an ex-wife who's really funny, and they're divorced, and they share this really cute teenage daughter who's dating a nationally famous quarterback. So to me, the ex-wife, teenage daughter portion of the show would be the part that like my girls and although it is pretty explicit, not like put pretty explicit language talking about sexual situations. And then it's really suspenseful. Like these drug guys kidnap them and put a hood over them and they get into arguments, but they're kind of like not really wanting to kill them because they are oil companies and they do things like the government brings in these battalions to do drills on the land just to discourage what the drug people are doing. So it's really suspenseful. It's beautiful. The music is good. I like Billy Bob. It's going to be a great treadmill watch for me, Ann.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious why you bought it. You could have signed up for Paramount for 3 months, probably free or something,
Oh, maybe
and
I could
watched
have,
it all.
maybe
Yeah,
I could have done that. That's true.
yeah. I mean, if
It's
I were to
probably,
do it, that's what
it's
I would
probably
do.
30 a month, I bet. Maybe it's not that much, right?
Oh, it's not that much. It's going to be like $15 a month, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
So maybe I left,
a note to listeners if
no,
you're
actually
interested in watching
I
it.
only paid $20 for it though.
Yeah. Well, if you could watch it all in a month, though.
Yeah, but I bet, well, I wouldn't, I don't know if I would watch it all in a month. Yeah, maybe. You're right.
Well, they're like 10 episodes. Yeah.
Um, Might have left $10 on the table, Ann.
Might have, yeah, you really. But
I
now I guess
usually,
you can rewatch till your heart's delight.
yeah, you're good at that. I'm more likely to forget I subscribe and subscribe for 2 extra months.
Every time I subscribe, I put a reminder in my calendar. 3 months, cancel, cancel.
With the one exception being WNBA.
The WNBA app because I did not know it automatically renewed.
I just looked outside and saw I would say a less than week old baby deer go through the front yard.
Oh,
So that's popped up this week, which has been great entertainment for us. Is this
a
baby deer,
plus for Boone.
the baby deer, and we got a turkey too. Turkey comes
Oh,
by.
I don't
I don't
see
know if
wild
they.
turkeys at all.
Tree fell down on our fence last night.
Oh, that's upsetting.
It gave me something else to do, right?
I guess whip that chainsaw out.
Yeah, it's freshly tuned up. It's like it's a new chainsaw. It's incredible.
Great, great.
All right, Ann, good to see you.
All right, good to see you.
Go Pacers.
Go Pacers.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye bye.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds. Go ahead.
But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete
And a basket case. A princess.
and a criminal. Does that answer your question?
I love you guys.